Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. I was waiting for Zoom to tell me that the session had started and she was silent. But that's perfect because there's something in that stillness of the waiting that's so evocative in different ways. The anticipation and the peacefulness in that. Um, so what a gift to be in that stillness for 2 seconds as we attune our hearts and our minds to this amazing conversation that is right in front of us with Suzanne Alexandria. Y'all, what Suzanne is tapping into, her own healing journey of the heart, mind, soul, and body, and her capacity to envision and transmit from that place of freedom that provides so much illumination. It's just profound. It's like I'm beyond happy that Suzanne is joining us today. We're going to be talking about the fountain of the divine, but really we're going to be talking about freedom, freedom, and freedom. And there's going to be transmissions where Isis most likely will come in, other cast of characters that you'll recognize, that you'll have a deep connection with. If you don't already, you may deepen into it. And if you don't, something might be ignited in you as well. And we're expanding into this amazing portal that we've entered, astrologically speaking. Different power places around the world are being activated. And more importantly, what's being activated in our hearts, ready for expansion, ready for truth to be illuminated, ready for us to say yes to the roles that we've been gifted. And the time is now. So it's going to be an amazing call today. We'll open up to Q&A. Um, and again, y'all get to experience what I called today's session the Suzanne Alexandria Show. And so with that vein, Suzanne, welcome to the Suzanne Alexandria Show.
Why, thank you, John. Welcome to you, to the
Mhm.
Suzanne Alexandria show. It's so lovely to be here. It's really your show, and we love it so much. Thank you.
So let's just dive into because there's a lot that we want to cover today. And I
Mhm.
also want to give the space for receptivity. Again, that pause in the beginning spoke volumes to me. Um, where shall we begin with your transmission? What has been coming up for you lately? What is calling your heart? And how are you guiding the people that you've been working with?
Well, so freedom has always been my theme, really, of my soul. I've known that for years, really, since I embarked on this work. And lately, it's come back again. And even just right before the show, my guides were downloading with my mentor some new, like, kind of renewed remembering that freedom, like you and I were talking about, and like you just mentioned, of the heart. It comes from doing our work, and it comes from not being afraid of the truth, and it comes from, they were saying, like, there's a truth in all of us that if we're willing to go there, does, like, that is freedom. That is the place where we live from our innate soul connection and our heart, our innate beingness. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight, and talk with people who have questions. The transmission will be along those lines, and we're going to help energetically unplug and plug into truth in some unique way with the guides. So they're all about how the truth sets us free and our hearts free. And, from these many years of my journey of healing, deep healing, that's been the guiding principle. It's been love, forgiveness, compassion, and truth. Basically, I would say all of those ingredients are so essential in this, like, in this new Christed light that we're embracing, that you know, we have become it, but then we're emanating, and we're learning to, I feel like we're learning to navigate now, like with a brand new pair of shoes on, like, how do I be, this out there in the world, like, in my truth, remembering to be free to speak my voice, or be free in lots of ways, be free to channel. So many
Mm.
people are coming online with channeling and light language, and it's like, well, yeah, be free with it, because it's your innate being. So that's what I've been seeing so much of lately, and like encouraging clients, and through my program work too. And for me, like, the question is, how do we become even more free? What's going to free me some more? That was a question recently I was posed, and it's like, yeah, okay, so maybe we ask people today, what's going to be the next thing that sets you free even more? What is it that would bring you so much freedom that it cascades to joy, then it cascades to more fun? So all those topics and more are what's been in my heart. That's a
Wow,
long.
that's beautiful. And you talked about the Christed light and all that. And I want to get into the awareness of the infinity light in just a little bit, because I think it's important to give context to know what's possible, which I want to lead with this other question first, because it's similar in that if we don't know something can exist, then we don't know that we can work with it.
Yeah.
And but when you're asking how free do I want to be and what's my next level of freedom, a lot of times we have preconceived notions of what freedom would be from a very low standard, because we believe that will give us something that we haven't had.
Mhm.
But also a lot of times we don't know what freedom necessarily would mean. It's like if somewhere to ask, it's there's a lot of pausing and thinking and what is and the searching for the
Mhm.
and it lands on something that doesn't feel like it's the complete answer, or that magic key that'll open up uh
Right.
the door to the flow of that freedom.
Mhm.
What are you finding in that when you ask that question of freedom, and finding an authentic, reliable answer that shows you that if I
Mhm.
start here, there's a promise that I'm going to get there?
Mhm. Yeah, I think sometimes what's best is trust and
Mm,
faith, faith and trust in that it could be beyond my wildest imagination. And I could share that recently I was really, really inspired to take a really huge step with one of my family members and surrender everything, and just let go of entirely the past, face to face. And
mm,
I was told, I was really, it came in such a flood of divine inspiration. I knew I had to do it. And during the process of preparing to meet, I was told, if you do this, it will lead to your freedom. And
mm,
it was so concrete, and I thought I knew what that meant. And some months later, so I did it, and I just let go of everything with this person. And now, some months later, I'm actually seeing it wasn't just for him and me. Actually, my whole family is free on a whole new level. And I'm seeing that roll out. And that's what I say, leave room for the beyond your wildest imagination, and grace. Because what I did by freely following my heart and taking really inspired action, turns out, like, underlying energetically has freed my brother and my mother and my kids in a big way. So it's like, I think when we can, well, we can only see so far, so trust that, but trust it could be even more in this time, because of who we're working with and who we are as these really powerful manifestors. And if you're going for freedom, then the universe is pretty serious about that with you, I think.
I agree
Because
with you.
that's what the guides want for all of us.
There's so much support in that, and we have to take the initial steps. We have to say yes to it. We have to do the thing that seems hard or even dangerous at times, because that's the way that our mind perceives of a potential outcome, and have faith. not just blindly, but we're really having faith in ourselves as well.
Yeah. 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 I think it's like you were reading, like the guides are talking to both of us, because that's also what they were saying. Like, there's a truth inside of you that will always set you free, and have faith in that, trust that, and keep going, keep going for that. And one thing that I have been learning is like, go for the truth rather than the story,
Hmm.
rather than what I may have made up about it, or what I might have perceived, because what I perceived was one thing, but what's the real truth? And there's always so many rich layers in any situation. So going for the truth, and it can change over time also, but
Hmm.
going for that, it's been said so many times, the truth sets us free. And it just feels like we're at a pinnacle time, John, right? Like right now, tonight's a lunar eclipse, and there's these other eclipses and things happening. And it seems like, I don't know, I just see a lot of my clients, a lot of people getting activated and realizing how powerful we are, as manifestors of light, of our realities, and let it be of our truth too. So a lot of times I keep getting messages in sessions and for myself, like, be careful if you're dancing in the story, because that'll take you one place versus staying in the heart and staying in the real truth of it, because there's always deeper perspective.
Mhm. Uh, there's so many places I want to go with you right now. I want to tune into the guides and also share messages about this period that we're in between now and the end of the year. And I think we should get that into that in a little bit. I want to delve a little bit into your experience before we start talking about the affinity light also, because what I want to demonstrate is how you've navigated this challenge, this it's a vulnerable walking in the truth, and we have to re-identify with who we believe we may be. But I believe also that part of what you did was surrendering into an expectation of what other people had to be in order to satisfy you, and being released from that truth. So when you showed up in that particular situation, did you have an expected result? That were you holding on that if I show up this way, X, A, B, and C needs to happen?
Mm-mm. I couldn't. And luckily there was zero, thankfully. I couldn't have had any expectation. I
Mhm.
just knew that I had to show up, and I got the opportunity to, and I just got to say the truth, which now became it. The past does not matter. All is forgiven. Like,
Mhm.
luckily that had come to be my truth, where
Right.
there's a lot of other versions of the truth over time, like a lot. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, you think you have one truth and then there's more, but no, I could not have any expectation. And it's one of the newer times when I really acted out of total knowing that I just had to, with just to like let the curtain fall on that chat, on that whole book.
And what do you think led to the total knowing?
Um, being dropped in as my open true self, and listening to the guidance and paying attention when it came that day, delving into it, talking with a friend to make, to help, but also just I it was the truth, and I listened and I felt it in my core, so I could trust it.
Mhm.
And then that it gave me all the confidence. I didn't waver at all. And it was really fascinating, because it could have been very, very scary, but it was fascinating because I was so in alignment
Well,
that
and I want to share that with the audience. It's like, what were your practices for getting into alignment? How is it that you tune in to listen to the guidance? How
how
Yeah, how is it that you sit with the guidance and tune in to get to the place of taking that next action step? And how did you find that confidence that wasn't there before to say, okay, the time is now?
Mhm. So, I mean, I want to say so much of it was like divine intervention in a way, but it was
Mhm.
me. Like it wasn't I know it was me knowing that the time was right, but it's like a window opened,
Mhm.
and I was so in the light and knowing that I didn't waver. So that happens that happens a lot, like when in meditations or when I do transmissions, or like I can now get to that place um frequently. So I mean, you asked how, like, typically since I really work in the Akashic records and teach from there many things, not just past lives, but many, many things, I typically go into that realm when I'm doing this kind of work to and meet my guides there. It's like my
Mhm.
own, it is my own private temple library.
Yeah.
And in that place, I always know that there's truth. But as you know, as people listening, it's when you're doing it on your own, you have to cultivate so much trust. It's taken time to
Right.
trust, oh, that I really am getting those messages. It took a long time for that too. So I just want to say that to people who experience that, because that can be common. But um, now there's a place where I just know I'm in alignment. And I like to walk there as much as I can in the every day. And think
Beautiful.
it's become pretty much my normal.
I love that. I also believe that what's happening as we walk more in alignment, that there are, I believe this summer here in the US and different places are experiencing summer, this period of time that
Mhm.
we've been in this pressure cooker where I keep referring as the water is coming up to a boil. And those things that have been suppressed, the things that we weren't illuminating, that we were withholding truth from within ourselves are coming up. How we react and have relationship with those things is also indicated by the work that you've done, your ability to center, to connect, to listen to guidance, to, to be facilitated by ascended masters of your open. But again, that voice of benevolence
Yeah.
that seeps inside of us has been really demonstrating itself very loudly in ways that do not have patience for the suffering of the victim mentality that keeps us stuck in perpetual suffering.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
And
interestingly, there's a matter of fact, like my gene key is victim or liberated.
wow.
Main gene key. And like I'd always known liberation was such a calling of my soul, but then yeah, the opposite is being a victim. And so many of us, I also know in so many of Earth's dynamics, like codependence or
Yeah.
so many dynamics, we've been working through that so much that I just it can't help, it's breaking so many chains in the collective of victim mentality, but we have to keep checking ourselves, like
Yeah.
it's a job right in here to make sure, oh, I am not telling myself that anymore, kind of thing right now for a lot of us.
Well, what can you recommend for people to keep their field clear, to keep it at a higher vibrational state instead of the dips and valleys that
Mhm.
we potentially go through? Because I do think that it's very important that we take the time uh,
Mhm.
to clear our energy on a regular basis,
Mhm. Yeah.
To be aware of what we're choosing to have a relationship with instead of just being receiving input all the time, which is the way I spoke to somebody about it. That they shared this with me this morning. It's like we're always receiving input, but we need to be the one that's giving input to ourselves more, right?
Mhm.
All these
Yeah,
noises. So
we really do. I know. And I feel like we're being taught that a lot now. Like it's, it is wonderful to work with other beings, but
mhm.
there is such an emphasis on who are you now? You
Yeah,
know, you're channeling, source, you're channeling truth, you're channeling your own wisdom from your own soul's vast like resources.
right.
So you asked how. Well, one of the main things I do is like with, especially with each session, and it's is the what is the basic Akashic Records prayer by Linda Howe. I also have one that I channeled, but the Linda Howe provided a short one that actually sets you in the truth, and it sets you in this place of, let me let go of ego and let me be in the light of truth, of creator, of the Holy Spirit, and let me know myself. Like it basically is saying that. And so it always brings us like right into that place. And so I do use those kinds of prayers throughout the day too when I need to.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm human and I forget and I stay in a kerfluffle,
Yeah.
until I, oh, maybe I need to center again. Um,
Do you clear before you do private sessions with clients? Do you clear the space and open that on the continuous basis?
I don't, I don't always have to anymore because I used to, but like I feel it so much, and now I know if I need to, and it became the norm a while ago. But I do every now and then, and I do need to. But I think it's because I say that prayer before every session too, and it
Nice.
like, so yeah, the answer is yes, because I
Okay.
always bring in the light of source and clear everything during the session. So yeah, yeah, it's really, really, really key.
Well, I think it's really important also that there's so much that we're navigating and we're being stimulated by a lot of things that are swaying opinions in the world for whatever reason that they're choosing to sway opinions and to clear the collective so that we can tune into ourselves, into our own guidance, into the guides who are really showing a path that's available for us as well. So it's wonderful to tune into us, but I do think it's important to that we listen because others have blazed a trail for us.
Exactly. Hmm.
They they're real. They're here to help guide us back home out of their love for us.
Hmm.
So to breathe in and take time to clear ourselves from the daily dusting off that is
Hmm.
needed,
Yeah.
it puts us in that place of receptivity where the clarity or where the truth doesn't exist becomes that much more apparent. The
Yeah.
clarity or where the truth is trying to guide us to becomes that much more obvious. And so
Mhm.
it's what I appreciate about your channeling and the sessions with you also because the alignment, it's about receiving messages and attuning, but there's a vibrational accord that you bring us into through the direct connection
Mhm.
with whoever it is that may be coming through at the moment, depending on who you're talking to.
Mhm.
Um, again,
And you as source too.
right.
Yeah, because that's become more and more important too. Every time I am channeling, it's for information, but now the guides are so clear, like, but what do you think? And who are you? We're giving guidance and helping you reset because we want you to walk out the door and just be you. So there's a lot more emphasis on that these days. And I feel like as we keep growing, it's really important to keep it's like it's like a lot of us, I think, have to trust ourselves now and not have that well, to like walk hand in hand with the guides. That's what they're always showing me.
Yeah.
Walk hand in hand. It's we're here, and their greatest joy is like to see you fly with your own wings. Actually, that's the truth, and that's
I've
what
been
gives.
getting, yeah,
Mhm.
I've been getting a lot of messages around that lately also, really how we're not praying to the gods in the way that we thought we were praying. We may be in reverence and recognition of one another, but
Mhm.
we're not praying up to. We're really whatever that priest collar was that we were wearing, in my case,
Yeah.
really needed to come off from the conforming priest, if you will, and
Yeah.
to one that realizes that we're conduits,
Mhm.
holders of those frequencies of
Yeah.
intelligence and benevolence. And that is why we can call ourselves to those spaces. And that's what the guides keep calling us back to. They're certainly calling me back to it. I know
Yeah.
that you are as well. And from what you're saying in your sessions,
Mhm.
it's become apparent that that seems to be the call for the collective. Uh,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
it's really beautiful.
Pay attention to the inner dialogue, the inner truth. And, like, would that could be really done despite the politics going on right now. It's sort of like, don't pay attention to how it feels in here. And if it feels off, go deeper and go deeper and go deeper, because the truth is in there.
Mhm. Amazing. Suzanne, I want to open up to Q&A in a little bit. So if y'all want to ask Suzanne a question, we're going to get into transmission. Isis is more than likely going to come, even though we do not demand her presence.
No, no,
I
no.
would not do that. Her presence. Just being obvious, but if y'all want to ask a personal question, raise your hand, type your question in the chat box, and we'll go through some Q&A. And we'll get into the special offer in a little bit also. Suzanne's offering one-on-one sessions for an amazing discount that is just, and what she's bringing through is just on a whole nother level right now. So it's, again, we'll get into that in a little bit. I wasn't sure if we were going to share, but I'm guided to. Um, Suzanne and I are meeting in Egypt in very quickly here in
Next week.
10 days. Yeah, next week. And there's something that keeps coming through, and it's something that I was inspired to guide and create. And Suzanne knew that she absolutely had to come, and she's going to be like holding this field and receiving so much also. And with this big trip, and it's energetically just beyond my comprehension at this moment, and in the bigness that I feel of it. I keep asking, how am I supposed to show up? What do you want me to do? How can I serve? How can I
Mhm.
show up for the group? How can I make this whole project better than what I can even anticipate it can be? And the consistent answer over and over again, and I've been holding this in my heart for a good 7 months. Just be who you are. Just be who you are.
Yeah. I got that message too about the trip.
Hmm.
Just go and be. Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. That's our theme, huh? Be your
And
true self. Yeah.
isn't that freedom?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hmm.
I really want to tell a related story. I keep
Please, yeah.
um okay. This speaks to the beloved, the empathic healer, intuitives, this whole group who's listening. There might be something in here for some of you. A lot of us grew up spiritually speaking, when we started to wake up, thinking that we had to go through trauma in order to wake up our gifts and skills. And there was a time years ago when I thought that too. It certainly helped. I had to come around to knowing that that was a whole different part of like my soul's design and purpose and why I'm here. And not long ago, the guides came through with one sentence that really has been rocking me, especially in preparation for Egypt, but in preparation for all the weird teaching that I'm teaching in my program. And they said, Suzanne, who you are as a healer has nothing to do with your trauma. And
Mm,
it's like I had to hear that again to confirm. And all of a sudden, in hearing that one sentence, this flash of like, oh, no, I would be sitting here with John having this like skill set no matter what.
mm,
But there was a time when I would have said, oh, I had to go through it kind of to like earn my stripes. I know it's been a while since I thought that, but I wanted to share that because it just like on a whole new level, it showed me my life as this series of projects that I've gone through, like the trauma stuff being a project because I could, and I took it on, and I did that. And so it's just been a fascinating journey deepening into like who am I? Who are we? And we're having all this series of magnificent experiences. And what do we want to experience next? And what do we want to master? That's
mm.
also a common thing. What do we want to master next? So the true self gets to choose, and just being you, that's the message we're getting. Just be you and try that on big time, and then a lot of other stuff will come.
Yeah,
How
amazing.
do I, right? Yeah.
And just be you, not you for somebody else, you for you.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
for you. Right?
Mhm.
We're really dropping, again, the threads of codependency, how they show up in different ways, how we try to get something for someone else, or protect ourselves from not receiving something from someone else, and acquiescing and negotiating in ways that aren't authentic. But a lot of times we don't know that we're not being authentic. It's just what we've learned,
Mhm. Mhm.
adapted to. So it's, yeah,
Yeah.
a big process of liberation, which is profound. I
Yeah.
love that story you shared. That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm
Awesome.
glad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a profound, like, oh yeah, I already was this no matter what.
Right.
So if there's one thing I would encourage people to remember, like your greatness, you already are, and we're
Mm.
just peeling away some layers.
Wow. Wow.
It's not there 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, profound, Matt, because we can get into the stories. I needed to go through that and justify the torture that we've experienced in lots of different ways. And it's torture because we lived in the prison and not knowing where to find the freedom. Uh,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Let's get
Mm.
into some Q&A. I want to get into some,
Okay.
we'll get to a special offer here in a second. Again, y'all
Okay.
raise your hands if you want to ask your questions. And Anthony, let's start with you. Welcome to the call.
Hi, friend. Oh, wait, you're muted.
Yeah, can you unmute your microphone, Anthony? I need my glasses all the time too. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I, when Captain Kirk said space is the final frontier, I always thought that consciousness was, because I think that is the final frontier for us and understanding it. I just wondered with Suzanne's healing that it how specific was it that you went to that one person? Because what I saw was, you get them piles of blocks that you put wood in, and you play this balancing game, and then you get to a certain block and the whole thing collapses. And I feel that when you said that others were involved in the healing, um, not only the person that you were dealing with, I think because we are so entangled as without knowing it, that the realization that what you did to one affected many, right? So it's the same way that in the that Christ, Yeshua, laid down pathways of consciousness for people to follow. I feel that that's what we're doing as individuals. We are making pathways of consciousness known to us, and the total effects of it we don't know, because um, your particular thing that happened with those other people, with the friend that you settled everything with, and then that affected others without you having conversation with them.
Anthony, I'm
Uh,
curious what your question is.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. I think that consciousness is the final thing that we're learning to understand.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you get such a great effect from that one thing,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I would say, looking back at this story, is I thought that the only place I would ever see the resolution was in consciousness, like in spirit.
Yeah.
I let go of it, but by bringing the consciousness in person, like I'm seeing it manifest in 3D, like in these relationships now. So it's that was something I didn't anticipate, and that I think I know we're seeing a lot of. I mean, that's not new, but it's like when you create something in consciousness and intention and truth, then look at how it manifests. And in this case, it manifested beyond what I could have imagined, like a new
Yes.
leaf of life for several of us in a way. So it's really,
And I think
that's
that's the beauty of this human experience, that we get to explore these different things and that are truly infinite, but we can explore them through these vehicles. And to say that consciousness is the final frontier is like, how amazing that as humans we can have a perspective that gets to explore that and feel into it, and then look for the experience of it, which is, again, there's infinite possibilities of that.
I
It's
think that's
such a
the joy
miracle,
of it.
right?
I feel that that's the joy of it.
Yeah.
In those quiet moments when you sit back and you're not thinking about anything, you go, well, it felt good,
Mhm.
you know.
But you know what? I mean, what if consciousness is it's the vehicle for lots of other frontiers?
It is. Well, it actually moves the molten core of the earth. Our consciousness adjusted the molten core of the earth so that we could go along with this new energy and express ourselves better in an environment that was things we don't even understand. And yet the further and further we go along, the more we come to understand it, you know. And uh, is it difficult? Is it difficult to try and improve yourself when in fact you don't, do you? You don't need to. And it was funny that both of you said, well, you know, I'm going away on this trip and I'll just be myself. And you go, oh, really? Is that all it is? You mean I'm divine? Well, of course you are. You know? And it's just like this acceptance of things. I mean, the fact
Yeah,
that the
but
fact
true.
that I'm sorry, the fact that people got healed by you healing one person, I think that's wonderful. That's entanglement.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anthony, I've got to move on to some other
Yeah,
callers.
sure. I'll shut up now. I
No,
talk
no,
too much
thank you
anyway.
so much for bringing this in. And again, the awe that gets inspired by being able to experience these very tangible thoughts and all that. It's like, again, how amazing that we
Yeah,
get to experience that awe over and over again through everybody.
celebrate yourself.
Divinity. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
celebrating Anthony. Thank you so much. Okay, let's continue. Nancy, welcome to the call.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Suzanne. We're going to start laughing now, which we always do.
Okay.
A little background. We had a session from John Cena last time, and Suzanne just kept going, "Who are you?"
Nice. Love that.
I saw you.
Yeah, we had fun. So I was just going to touch base and say hello and see if Isis or any of her friends want to drop a little message in. They don't seem to drop little ones. They just do these giant bursts of energy where we have to take time to recover from, but that's okay.
Well, all right, Nancy, Okay, so we have the big council surrounding us. I'll just invite everyone to start to tune into the big council. To me, they're called the council. They changed their name to the Council of Harmonization. It does include Isis and Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and a lot of other like Pleiadians and Arcturians. So suddenly I just, as we're tuning in, I'm seeing them surround this whole group. So I'll just say, if you want, let's invite everyone to just start to open. If you want to receive energy from what's coming in a transmission, you can start to say yes to that and let yourself breathe and relax and open to any energy that's ready for you tonight from your higher self and from. So that's first. So Nancy, the whole council showed up right when you asked that. So what the message that they have is that well, there's no time like the present to keep attuning to the truth. That's kind of for everyone tonight. But Nancy, there's do they just keep showing me in different forms a new chapter coming for you, a new program within you, called like a program which will be divinely inspired coming through you, that'll come through you, is coming it's time for it to come through to fruition. So in like the form of a new book or a new chapter. Maybe it's literally a book, but whatever you're planning, you're obviously planning something. Let it grow out of you, like come burgeoning out of you. Okay. And you know what that is, I think. Yeah. Okay. So let it out. I see lots of a new whole book, a new whole thing. Let it out like this. I don't see what it is, but that's what. And the council, if you don't ask from them yet, ask the council, go into meditation with the council of harmonization. That's also a big word. Like they started coming in, renaming themselves several months ago, Council on Harmonization. And it's like an official, it's so beautiful, but like, that's what I feel like. And I'm shown where a lot of us are harmonizing just with your inherent beautiful nature, be in harmony on the planet with you as you, and let it flow. Yeah. So, all right, Nancy, I'll look forward to seeing whatever you birth.
Okay.
They're like, it's a kick in the okay. Okay.
But you and John are going to Egypt. That sounds fun.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's epic. Epic. Thank you, Nancy. It's wonderful to have you on here.
Thank you. It's fun.
All right, y'all. We're going to get into more Q&A. Melanie, I'm going to get to your call in just a little bit, but I want to go through the special offer first because I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity. Suzanne's offering one-on-one sessions, which is epic, as I'm sure Nancy can share. And it's, again, y'all click on the special offer link. Let's go through and you can find out very specifically what you're going to receive. Through Suzanne's bringing on the call today. So Suzanne, guide us through what everybody's going to, how they're going to have this exchange with you.
So what I love to offer is 3 pieces. It's 3 parts. So a reading with me at a very lovely price. And then I always love to invite you all from this community into my group calls that I have every Thursday. It just always is so enriching to bring a whole new group through for a couple of months after these calls, because we all kind of co-create all of this and get inspired with each other. So you get free normally it is a subscription, but if you buy this package, you get 2 months free. So if you're already in the subscription, I suspend it for 2 months. And just there are live transmissions. There's always a theme and a channeling. And then one of the best things though, is that there's access to the whole library from this year, starting in January. And there have actually been 2 masterclasses channeled this year that are not available on my website, in my store. They're in there. One is on manifestation and co-creation, and one is on worthiness. So those were master classes that the council came through and bestowed us all, and it was really lovely. So those alone are really worth a lot because I've heard such beautiful things from people who've completed those. They're like 5 or 6 weeks of transmissions.
Amazing. So you've
Yeah.
got the live participation calls on Thursdays. You've got the access to the recordings, and then there's a 1 hour one-on-one goddess-led deep dive reading.
Yeah.
What does the implication of goddess-led mean?
It's always overlit by one. I tend to channel, like, I am surrounded by this council who also like brings other guides through at different times, but I tend to work in one-on-ones. One of the goddesses known as Mother Mary or Kuan Yin or Isis or Mary Magdalene. One of those is always an overlight and like helps you with the understanding you came for. And I'm a pretty, like, pretty powerful energy shifter, like an energy engineer. And I always ask permission, but we always really do a lot of deep energy cleansing in the session. And so that the team helps with that too, depending on whatever your soul and you as a person want on that given day. But it's a robust session where we talk, and then there's always a pivot of energetically through the Akashic records.
Beautiful. So I highly recommend the sessions. I've heard so many great things about the group meetings and what gets transmitted, the channeling that comes through, the wisdom, the camaraderie. And there tends to be, like, once you get into the group, there's like, it tends to be a pretty symbiotic type of navigation that happens
Yeah.
in particular groups, especially the way that you hold it. So again, it builds such strong binds
Yeah.
with one another. And that's so I love seeing that.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's one of my most fun. I've been doing it for many years now, and it's like a really great hour during the week. Oh, and thank you, Nancy, for your kind comment.
I will read her comment in a second as the testimony. So she wrote, personal sessions are great. Learned more from her than any other. Is definitely insightful and fun. And then Bridget wrote, I had a reading a couple of weeks ago, and it was one of my best readings. Looking
Wow.
forward to expanding again with Suzanne. So that's included in there, y'all. The 1 hour reading, the community access, the live community access, and the recordings, all for $147. 2 payment option on that. And you're going to start taking readings when, Suzanne? Because I know you're leaving for a trip, and I'm not going to let you do readings while we're in Egypt.
No, I'm not. No, I have a couple spots open before that, but
Okay.
then they'll resume in October. So
Fantastic.
I trust it'll be worth the wait, because somehow I'll be
What's coming through? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to ask you before we end the call today also what's coming through for Egypt for us together as well, because it's happening for the collective also. And I want to share what's being transmitted and what's awakening in different parts around the world, because it's a mirror for what's awakening inside of us. And we're not just there for the individual experience. We know that we're being of service, but also understand that you're being of service when you're choosing when you're choosing to expand into your truth, when you're choosing truth above all else in the name of love. And so we're all doing this in different ways, and we're all being called in different ways to be in relationship with that. And again, how wonderful that we have the beautiful facilitation that comes in from these ascended masters and divine beings who are here to guide us to that openness of consciousness, a frontier that we're definitely exploring at this age. So again, y'all, the special offer, $147, take advantage of it. We're going to open up to more Q&A now. Was there something that you wanted to say on that? I feel like I'm just talking a lot, and the energy's got me. All right, let's go to our next caller then. Melanie, welcome to the call.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are y'all?
Happy to
Okay,
have you
so
here. Yeah,
your what the council brought through for Nancy kind of felt like it was talking to me too, as I feel I am in transition.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if there is anything that might come through for me as to a little bit more guidance on the
Mhm.
transition. And I
Mhm.
do work with the Akashic records as well, although my teacher told me I walk through the back door of the Akashic records a lot instead of the front door.
Wow, what does that mean?
It's interesting. I feel like I just tune in and of course I say the prayers sometimes, but not always. But
Yeah.
I feel like I still can connect
Oh, yeah.
depending on who I'm working with.
I would not say that's the back door. I would say that's because innately wired to do that, and
Right.
your connection. So I don't think that's the back door.
So I just like the way she said it. I thought it was
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, so your question is, what is it all the same? Like, what's next?
Yeah, kind of. I feel very topsy-turvy right now on just in life in general, but specifically in my work with others.
Yeah. So right front and center is Kuan Yin. So right when you started to talk, I saw she's right there with you. So first and foremost, start to evolve within the context of letting Kuan Yin offer some guidance. That's one big thing right here. It's like she dropped in right in front of you.
Okay.
Like, I want to be a loving guide for this time. And
Okay.
so think of that as like a mentorship. That's the first thing. I go into your records and sit with her very, very explicitly, sitting with her. She's got okay, so now it's going deeper. So I'm seeing you go into your records with her, meet her there, and I'm seeing it be a very rich time of resourcing what you need to pull forward. And this is a lot of the work that I do in the records, is like pulling, literally downloading from your own Akash and your own wisdom cache. So she wants to help you be in that place to receive. And it's like wisdom, inspiration, about your lineage as a healer, and who you are from a very much higher plane. And then about your some more about ancestral lineage that is it's kind of detailed. So your ancestral lineage might have shown you one thing, but flip it on its head. She'll help you flip it on its head like a hangman and see it. And there's a lot of gold in there, in that understanding for you as you like move forward. You're not to dwell in the past, but you're gonna be given some, like a bowl of cherries, evidential. You'll have evidential expertise from that. That's pretty specific.
That is so interesting. I'm gonna have to come back and listen to this replay again and really absorb what you just said. Oh
Or
my
just
God.
go in with Kuan Yin, very specific.
Wow.
Beautiful. And get a reading, get a session, go deeper.
Yeah. That
A
would
lot
be
of my
awesome. I will.
Like, a lot of my sessions are actually like that. That's probably why they did that. It's like, we want you to get out there and be living, and like they'll give like homework, very explicit direction now, a lot of times, especially if
Okay.
you yeah.
All right, Mel,
Nice.
blessings to you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
I'll see you
Yes.
soon, I hope. Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
let's continue. Kimberly's writing, do you have any guidance on the eclipse and the full moon today?
Oh, just, my guidance is always, because there's so many of these, we could get specific, but my guidance is always, stay staying in alignment with these celestial events lets you reap the benefit. And so, I mean, today what I'm getting, like, it's a super moon. We're under the super moon right now, which is so abundant, and there's an eclipse. And I know the transmission will help with this, but what's coming through is like, how do you want to pivot, even in a small way? Because these times are always opportunities to be in the energy of, okay, I'm going to let that go and bring this in, kind of thing. Like an eclipse does that. So I see all of those events often as ways to stay in alignment and be in connections, because it's always moving us to a new place that we want to be. So, like, stay in your center, stay in your truth, open to the best shift that's for you. And I would say, let's get in that mojo even now, because Spirit definitely wants to assist all of us with a little adjustment based on where you want to be, or how you want to be.
Well, and again, the shifts of the time, though, and again, we began the call, and I'd really love to relate this to the flavor of the season that I think is just going to be continual. But really the walking forward in freedom. And there is something about the astrological events. There's something about the solar energies. There's something with the world events that are happening that are all rising in different ways.
Yeah.
To guide us on that path of freedom that we have to be liberated into. I mean, the alternative is not sexy and definitely not wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be free. So if you want to be free, ask for it. Like, let it happen, make it happen. Yeah.
And we should be intentional with these energies. Again, if you're really affected and have a relationship with these astrological events and the eclipses, and if they're bringing up something for you, it's always about bringing ourselves back, like you did with your family. I'm going to choose to show up for truth. And if there's an impetus, if there's a wave or a tide that's coming in that is helping to push me towards that truth, we want to work with it. So how can I show up in courage? How can I show up in my truth? How is this showing up for my benefits? And how can I ride that dragon, if you will, to bring forward the expansion or the transformation that I'm hoping for myself, but I don't know how to get there on my own. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because it's still the year of the dragon. We talked about it.
Oh, yeah. And I want to bring a little Kuan Yin energy into that as well, by the way. Yeah.
Dragon, ask, how can I have more freedom? That's what they've been saying, telling me to do.
Yeah.
How can I have more freedom today? And leave it open for expansion that you might not have even imagined.
And then what action can I take towards that freedom once I know what it is, right? Because we need to move. We need to move.
Even actually, they told me, love in action. Love in action.
Amazing.
Taking actions that are totally out of, I love myself so much and the universe so much, I'm going to do this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's coming. The energy today, y'all. It's like, I can't stop talking. I'm just
comments of that. Yes.
It's Denise has a question, and we're going to get into transmission in a little bit, y'all. I feel like there's a buildup for it. But Denise is curious about holding the energy. She writes, I find the dips have been really hard, and notice they come in the in-between spaces. Like when I'm busy doing and in the flow of things, I can hold a higher vibration. When given space to rest and be, it dips. And she wonders if you have any thoughts about that.
When you rest, it dips.
It's busy doing and flowing, that seems like she's able to hold the higher vibration. That's her interpretation anyway.
Okay. So Denise, what comes is asking yourself, you can ask your team for help, but asking yourself in a very intentional way to stabilize throughout the day. Like make a blanket request, maybe starting off in prayer and meditation and intention. It feels like you need to do a spirit-based reset with intentionality, that this is how I'd like to be, and show me the way to this homeostasis. What you're experiencing is quite normal, but you're also at a point for you where you can start to, where you need to have unwavering trust or faith that you can walk basically like the master that you are. That's where you'll stay in that vibration, when you're knowing that you're the master that you are. And so you can they're suggesting start off maybe tonight with a little ceremony, like, okay, I've seen how I love to be. I'd like that more and more. I'd like that to be my norm. Help me reset it, and help, and show me the way. Show me the way for continued, like, up-leveled homeostasis. That's a big word for it, because they want you to be in like centered groundedness, a high vibration, but calm. Feels like what you can ask for. So there's something about you consciously opening and asking, and then kind of just starting forward, walking like that, and then catching yourself like, oops. Because notice maybe if there was a thought or something that causes the dips. There's something that causes it, so then you can become aware of that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Again, a deeper session could be super beneficial, because I feel like there's a little excavating to do in that one.
Yeah, actually, I would agree.
Yeah, wonderful. Let's continue. We've got more questions that are coming in. I want to ask, and again, I want to get into the transmission a little bit, but it seems like we got lots of times for questions today. So I'm curious if I can ask Isis directly, if she would come through. If she has any guidance for you and I, or let's call it for I, to keep you out of it and neutral.
Okay.
As we're listening and being called to a particular part of the world, can she share her wisdom as to why we're being called, and how I can best show up in my humility to heed that calling?
Wow, that's a big question. It's beautiful. So why we're being called and how you can show up. Okay. All right, let me tune in for a moment. This
And
is
it could be anyone that comes through. I'm just asking Isis because she's associated, but of course I'm humbled by and honored by whoever shows up, if they desire to show up.
Yeah. Okay. No, it is her. This is a time for you, John, to open your peripheral vision to a whole new dimensionality. And so one of the cause and effects of you embarking on this journey is to start to understand, you're going to develop a whole new comprehension of moving moving through time space in new ways, because when you're having the experiences that we'll be having in Egypt with you, and this is the guides saying you're gonna be your consciousness. So for you personally, your consciousness is going to be activated in such a way that you can hold more perspectives at once, and it will up level your understanding of the bigger picture of what's changing in these coming times. So for you as a leader, there's a beautiful excavation but unveiling of this new multi-dimensionality beingness that you're embarking on. And so that's for you personally. So let yourself surrender to opening in a way that formerly what wasn't accessible just because it wasn't the time for that, and come into lovely peace because it's going to happen. That would be from our perspective, all the guides, but she's saying my perspective, she, like, that's very much what she'll be witnessing with you. So the depth of the sacred communion in ceremony and sacred time is meant for you to be very opening into this, just this bigger, I can't describe it, but I feel like I'm seeing from your perspective, like seeing the cosmos, but it's the earth. So there's just a deepening of your being able to see vastly, because you are going to be using that as a leader, because you're a leader. Very clear to help to be opening. And I'm quite sure you're going to be teaching people that and bringing it back. It's just like popping open a lot.
Well,
So,
what's remarkable about what you shared about opening to new time and space in a different way. I don't think I've ever shared this with you, and some of y'all may have heard this that are listening, but most likely not. I was in the pyramids in Chichen Itza about 7 years ago, and when I first entered the grounds, I heard a voice tell me that I needed to go sit under a shaded tree, sit in lotus position, and listen.
mm-hmm.
And I left the group. It's like, I gotta go. I'm being called. And I left the group and did exactly as they had suggested. Closed my eyes in front of the big pyramid in that
Wow.
place in the Yucatan in Mexico. And the second I closed my eyes, I started getting these mathematical formulas just coming into my pineal gland. And
Yeah.
I'm asking, what am I supposed to do with this? And y'all, I wasn't on any type of plant medicine. It wasn't heat stroke, and it wasn't any of that. It was pure connection. Thank goodness. Well, I thank God for all the messages in all the different ways. But this one was so clear. And for about 30 minutes, just these algorithms, these mathematical formulas that I could not have made up, that I had
Wow.
no capacity to write down or translate. And I'm sitting in meditation asking, what am I supposed to do with this? And I hear, just receive, just receive, just receive. And at 30 minutes exactly, it stopped.
Wow.
My body came back online. I felt enlivened, reinvigorated. I stood up like I had taken a 3-hour nap, but was fully conscious. And I asked, what is this? What did I just receive? And I heard very specifically time travel.
Wow.
And I asked, what am I supposed to do with that now? Let's see, that'll be cool one day, maybe. And I heard, you will know, the time will come. And what you just shared is it's adding to that experience, and it's amplifying in new directions, because perhaps I'm ready and we're ready to receive it in ways that we weren't before. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So your second question is, like, the answer is be like that. Like, they're saying everything's taken care of. You have a plan, you have other guides with you. If, like, when it's appropriate, this is for you as well. And you get to step back to the, like, what you did, or you get to be in harmony, intend really being in harmony with Isis, Isis and Horus and Osiris, with the Egyptian energies. Just intend to be really in harmony with that, because there's going to be an illumination for you. Like, I see one of the obelisks, like your core energy.
Oh,
Probably
wow.
code, that would be code. Other also code coming in.
And y'all, we get to share all that as we receive, we get to share. So Susan,
Oh,
we share in your private sessions the energy that we're accumulating and qualifying within ourselves. We're qualifying these lifetimes of experiences and refining so that we can translate it and explore consciousness in a new way and share how that expands all of us, right? So
yeah.
it's amazing what comes through on that. Dawn, who's going to be in Egypt as well, she says, I think many of us going to Egypt are timekeepers. I would agree, Dawn, in so many different ways. It's profound what's coming through, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there as well. And I want to go on to our next question, and I want to get into transmission as well. But I'm curious why ISIS is showing up so prevalently in ways for me, like I haven't experienced before. But I know she's showing up in the collective more as well. I mean, she's really, it's for me, even in my visions and in my meditation, she's almost showing up shamanically as
Mhm.
well as an ascended master. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Do you want me to answer that? What
Yeah,
was that?
please. Yeah.
So there's a perspective about her that many people have that's about her being an overlay of sacred temple work. And that's a big part of it, because a lot of you are ready to really dive more deeply into the true nature of who you are. And so many of you are getting core light codes that are returning into your consciousness now. And that's a lot of my work within sessions now and group stuff. It's core light codes of your source code core. So well, one reason she's prominent is that she's known on the earth, but the bigger truth is that she's part of our training, if you will, and assisting us, guiding us in ascension and alchemy. And that a lot of us are ready for really a big transformation that way. So it's time now to be introducing, and a lot of us are talking about that. And what we're talking about tonight is soul alchemy, like transforming the old into light and all of that. But she's saying the prominence would be that she's bringing like as you all realize your abilities, then you can receive more and more and more of these codes and guidance. And I just keep seeing that word magic with a K. Like, so what our souls know from other temple experiences, we're not recreating it, but we're what I've been shown, and I'm shown again, like we're merging like the other lives where we have been a master at those things is here. It's in your DNA. It's awakening or awakened, but you're also bringing this cosmic light code and light of your own self too. So I feel that that's what I've also been shown very recently, like why I'm drawn to it. Like there's this merging of the wisdom we innately already have that we've done on earth, and then something brand new. And I always see that, like we can't even comprehend what that's gonna be. Like it's brand new. So yeah, that's what it's kind of cool. Like she's inferring and saying like a lot of you all are ready, a lot of people are ready for that.
Yeah.
Ascension technology kind of thing. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, let's continue. Again, y'all, we're going to get into transmission just a little bit. I promise. I promise. We're getting closer. I want to ask, well, there's a couple of questions. I want to ask both Carolyn's and Giovanni's. Giovanni's, I'm curious how you'll answer this. Giovanni says, I pray for physical healing. Why is it that our prayers are not answered?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Okay, I'm gonna go deep on that. Giovanni. So Mary Magdalene and Yeshua are here. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna start. The truth is, Giovanni, for us, is that there's a time, all there is a time and place for everything. To everything there is a season. They're bringing back that old saying. And there are always reasons for everything. And so that's why it's important to stay in tune with your truth. So the question really is not why is it not happening, but what for me, like the question you need to be asking is about you specifically, about what is the nature of this burden, and how do I transcend it? And there's something exclusively for you that is waiting to be unwrapped. So it's not that, so it's not that the prayers aren't answered, it's that you're not, in this case, you're guided not just to ask for pure healing. You've got to open a package like they show a gift, because there's something that you have to transcend in order to manifest real change. So that's for you very specifically. You cannot assume that for everyone. For every person, there's many reasons, as there are people on the planet, why something happens. It is why we're talking about this tonight, that the truth in you will set you free. So be sure you're accessing the places where that resource is. Ooh, okay.
Wow, beautiful answer. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, and blessings to you on your physical healing. Carolyn's asking, am I getting messages from my guides accurately? I'm keeping a journal and asking for signs of clarity, but would love your insights.
What's her name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn, okay. Yes, Carolyn, you're getting access. You're getting access correctly, but I just see a little stream that you need to cross over. There's the stream representing some consciousness clearing, that you'll be well served to do some more work like we're doing tonight. Like we were saying, dusting off your intuition. I'm seeing it on your left side, and I think I'm helping you right now. There is a real thing, like our intuition needs to be polished and shined up and tweaked, and by practice. So, and that's a lot of what I do in my work with people. So it's not that you're not getting it, it's that you're fresh out of the gate, it sounds like, and you can trust that it's working, but spend more time for you right now in like in trance state with your team, just getting polished up, actually, like without an agenda. They're saying, like going into meditation and letting sort of like letting nature take its course, but letting your intuition system get realigned, because that's what's needed for you at this time. So stay out of the thinking that it's not working, but more investment in, I'm in the body shop, basically getting polished up. And from my experience, we all kind of have to do that. Practice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
you for that.
Mm.
You know, I'm guided to share with Giovanni also from a practical perspective on the physical healing for all of us, as we may experience different roads to easing physical suffering. Um, but I'm curious, Giovanni, if you know why you want to physically heal. Is it to end the suffering, or is there something beneath that that is wanting to be activated? Is there a connection? Is there an intimacy with a reflection of the divine that you're being called to not ignore anymore, whether that be a family member or yourself or some other way? Again, I know that when people have illnesses that are life-threatening, that perspectives of life and what's important change beyond just the physical suffering, that there's something deeper that we want to connect to. And through that urgency, we find the how and the why very clearly. Um, Chronic pain sometimes exists because we're not looking into why it is that I want to heal, not why the illness is here, but what is it that I want on the other side of me gaining my vitality back? Another chance at this, and then how will I show up in that? And so again, the person who knows their why can overcome almost anyhow.
Mm.
And so I wanted to bring that into a possibility of something to explore and go deeper into. Okay, I want to get into transmission, but someone is mentioning Alexandria, so I
Yeah.
have to talk about it. So I don't know who wrote this, but they wrote, my parents named me Tanis and didn't know why. After some research, I found that Tanis was an ancient capital city of the lower delta in Egypt before Alexandria. And of course, Suzanne Alexandria, the Akashic Records, can y'all tie it together, right? The books, anyway, the libraries. I'm curious if my name is in some way meant to remind me of lifetimes there, or is there other information that my name is holding for me that you might be able to give me some insight about?
Well, tennis, like right away, that common answer, if you're asking the question, you know the answer.
Nice. Yeah.
Comes right away. So sorry, not sorry, but yeah, I like this could be like the perfect thing, for instance, for an Akashic Records reading, because yeah, that there seems a divination there for sure. In that. So follow that or go into meditation and ask for more. But I just get a huge yes that it could hold a lot of keys for you to dig into that.
Could she book a session with you and you guys can go into the Akash and explore that further?
Absolutely. Yeah. That would be a thing to, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So y'all may not know, but again, to reiterate it, you go into the Akashic. Yes, you connect to ascended masters and spirit beings, and you're amazing at that. And that's it. Again, the tools and the frameworks that you have to connect, to bring intelligence back so that we can apply it is it's quite profound. But again, you work in the Akashic records as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, sometimes it's for past lives. I love delving into that, but really, I'm always guided very clearly. It's to help you know yourself. It's to help you know the truth from your soul's highest perspective. Who are you as a soul living this experience and why? So we answer those kinds of questions, like the purpose of things, why, and sometimes a past life comes through, but regardless, it's always to help set you free in your understanding of yourself and what you can do, or why you are motivated to do certain things, or why you are expert at something, or unlock. A lot of times it's the team, the purpose is to unlock your vault. I just call it your vault of you that is ready to awaken in this body, like in terms of understanding. that comes through the DNA, and it's hard to understand even, but they're activations that turn on the switches that we're all, here to right now turning on and up leveling, upgrading. So
Beautiful.
I would say it expedites the upgrade process is what it does.
Most definitely. Again, we remove the veils to the blind spots, and once that becomes illuminated, it's awareness, action taking, even limitations that we have been holding on to because we couldn't see clearly, all by the wayside. I mean, there's so much clearing and activation that takes place. So amazing.
Yeah.
10 says you signing up for a session. So amazing. Yo, the link for the special offers in the chat box also. You also, again, it's there, a 1 hour session with Suzanne. You get the membership, you get the recording, the library of Alexandria, which is awesome. So it's, again, amazing what's in the special offer. And Suzanne, can we end today's call with the transmission?
Yeah. Yep. Let's do it that way. Perfect. How long do we have?
How long do you want?
Like a little over 10 minutes, I think.
Perfect. Y'all sit back and relax, knowing that we're going in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Save. Amazing. What a gift.
Thank you all.
I'm going to close out my video and audio so that I can receive as well, because I'm guided too. So thank you all.
All right. I love you all. Okay. So you all have been lovingly being restored in your consciousness tonight. As we said, when we opened the temple doors before we even started this call, and the guides were very, very clear about restoring aspects of freedom. And so if you are wanting to tune into yourself in a higher vibrational way and receive freedom codes, as well as understanding, then this is for you. So you are welcome to take some breaths and maybe place your hands on your heart or your belly, starting to receive long inhales and exhales, and open your open to your Akash, open your heart to your Akashic records. This is going to be an personal Akashic records transmission. So imagining yourself in a beautiful, really palatial pyramid of light of any form that you notice or see or feel. Isis is with you, and she helps cast the light of the ancient pyramids, but they're ethereal because it's a sacred prismatic form that starts to surround your body where you are, and it starts to, like, literally there's geocodes going on, but it starts to transform and transfix your energy to help bring it to a higher place. So knowing that you're in the pyramid of you, your own Akashic records sanctuary, that's your first gifting, if you will, or the first part of this transmission. This transmission from her perspective is, she's saying, from my perspective, is to allot a certain amount of time for you in this high vibrational state so that you can be transfixed into a new level of understanding and receiving freedom codes. So know that freedom codes are already starting to come into your heart space through your central light column. And that Gaia, we're going to open to the nourishing, loving holding of Mother Gaia, knowing that she loves you and me and us so much. And she's opened her heart to really magnetically anchoring you, almost pulling you down, anchoring you onto the earth in a beautiful way, so that for this up-leveling, you're held in her light, in her heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Gaia. And then overarching all is Archangel Michael with this lapis blue light. That's healing light. and it's overarching you, it's surrounding you as well in a sphere. So the technology that you're experiencing is your own. It's your own direct channeling technology to access your own higher self. And many of you know this, but what we want to do is offer, they're calling it an advancement into the new frequencies that the council is saying that we're making available. So imagining yourself being lifted up and placed in forward motion in a new place. Like they're showing this as a speeding up of where you've been to where you are going, or are meant to be at this time. And so as we're in the middle of this eclipse, there's also the energy of that helping to shed old residue. We were talking about cleansing, but very specifically now it's time for you to attain a level of clarity about your a refinement of your intentionality for moving forward. So consider this an intention for the next 31 days, they're saying, for the next 31 days. Where are you going? Where might you go? Where do you want to be planted physically in 31 days? It's very, very specific. I'm sure there's a sacred reason for that number. There is a sacred reason for that number. Because there's a quickening of accessing your own manifestation codes, if you will, your own, let's say, divine plan. And that, as we've been talking about, comes from staying in the truth. We've been talking about this, so we're showing that as you have opened to your own truth, center your own heart, your own Akashic library, that's yours. And you will always find the answers in your heart through this heart portal and through your own soul's destiny. See, these are really big words, really big concepts, basically, but they're opening us, they're anchoring all of this in, because freedom for you all comes from staying in the truth of who you came to be, but who you are now. So there's naturally this forward yearning, but then the reality that you're in the present. And we are suggesting that right now, let go of some of the stronghold of what would keep you from your biggest dream as you know it right now. So that's a long way to say to you, tell us what you really want right now. And you're going to be just guided to have a few moments in silence from me to tell the council what you want. And to, in this place of unlimited potential, create the opening that it can happen for you and with you and because of you. So imagining the cosmos above you, now the temple opens and you're in the realm of the cosmos and unlimited potentiality for your soul's desire or desires. Please open to what you perceive you want, you desire, and let that open out through your heart. And let yourself into feeling that vibrationally. Feel what it is that you want while you're in this state, in your own soul's beautiful, beloved presence, as you're manifesting the feeling and the sensation of this very intentional reality. And as you realize what you want and let it become your energy, settle into the truth of that it's already here. And you are in your own space capsule, essentially. But you're in your own truth. And you're in your own consciousness and your own vibration. So what do you intend? What do you want? What is here now? Now we're going to place it in the present tense. Whatever you have been wanting, state to yourself that it's here now. State it in a way that it's here now. I already am, fill in the blank. I've already done this, fill in the blank. It comes to the present. And what we're showing you is that with this combined connection with the light beings that surround you, and your own ability to open to your own soul's higher plan and higher self, your own soul's expression, you're experiencing right now your open heart as the container for manifesting the greatness that is here. So let that become you, because this is actually your own heart. It's your own heart's desire. And it's that place in you that knows and knows and knows eternally what is best for you. This or something greater. And notice your heart. Your heart is open. Your heart is containing the infinite potentiality of the cosmos. There's a connection that you've attained right now with a very vastly open heart. And for a lot of you, this is one of the access points for what we've been speaking of. So you may listen to this part of the recording again to attain it again. But and so that's beautiful. So Isis lingers. Isis is not ever going anywhere, she says, and she is here for each and every one of you on this call. And we're going to leave you this evening, or whenever you're listening to this transmission, in this place where your heart is open to the potential, and your heart knows, and trust that, and let the heart speak to you. So a following question could be, show me anything else, heart. We won't do that now, but you could linger in this energy asking, show me about this. So this is what I'd like. This is what I'm seeing. Show me more. Show me more freedom. Show me how. Show me the steps. Guide my steps. So that's where we'll leave it. And you're all masters, you're all beloveds. And so you'll know You don't necessarily have to close out of this. This is like a natural state of heart open connection within your own sanctuary that she's just taken us to. So I trust it feels really good for everyone. And there's just a lot, I know what I see is a lot, almost like music notes for everyone coming out to activate you, whatever it is that you're here to sing. So that's kind of a cool way to end it, John.
Amazing. So beautiful. Thank you so much for that transmission and what came through. Wow. Y'all
Nice.
come back and listen to the replay. There was a lot and so beautiful and so heart activating and inspiring that y'all, the replay, we'll send out the link a little bit later. You can always access replays on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. And of course, the special offer with Suzanne, dive in, take advantage of it, get your session.
Yeah.
That's
See you
Suzanne.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you next week. Oh my God,
my
so
God.
excited. All right.
Yes, I'll see you in person.
Love you.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. I look forward to seeing y'all on the next live call. Much love.